Time for the tropical update, and we are watching a lot of activity across the Atlantic basin. We've got a couple of storms we'll talk about. Of course, the headliner, Fiona, a Cat 4 storm. We also have Gaston up in the North Atlantic threatening the Azores. And we've got a couple of waves over on the other side of the Atlantic. And another area that's worked into the Caribbean. This one may be our biggest headache of all of them. We'll see. Let's talk about Fiona first of all. And the movement this morning, it went from moving north early this morning on this Thursday to more of a northeasterly trajectory, and it's starting to make that turn, which will carry it just out to the west of Bermuda. Bermuda is now under hurricane warnings. They are bracing for hurricane force conditions to impact the island there. The hurricane force winds extending out around 70 miles or so from the center, and we're going to continue to watch that because, again, the system's going to come pretty close. They were under tropical storm warnings. Now they're going hurricane warnings with this passing close enough to bring those stronger winds a little closer and perhaps over the island there. Eventually, it makes more of a turn to the north. It weakens a little bit, but folks up around Nova Scotia and back over towards Newfoundland, they're going to be watching this carefully as the system comes into Canada in that part of the country. So we'll be watching. Now, this track obviously well offshore. In fact, even the outflow, the high cirrus clouds from this system are not going to quite make it to our coast. We've got a cold front coming through, and all of this is going to combine to produce some interesting conditions here in Hampton Roads. You see the models all very much in agreement. There's one outlier that's a little bit to the east, but they're all generally in agreement on Fiona, so we've got a good handle on that with the forecast. You look at the wave heights, all of this violent wave activity out there moving along close to the center of the system. So that's where the really rough stuff is. But the waves here in Hampton Roads and along the Outer Banks, they will be increasing as well through the day tomorrow. We've got a high surf advisory. This is 8 a.m. Friday. You see the waves building for our area. And then by late Friday, 6 p.m., the wave action starts to pull away. Things start to calm a bit. So what does this mean for Hampton Roads? Well, let's talk about some local coastal impacts. We do have a high surf advisory for Friday. This runs from 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. We're talking about large breaking waves, 6 to 9 footers expected in our surf zone. So we're going to be watching that carefully. Could see some even higher waves down along the Outer Banks. Dangerous swimming and surfing conditions. This is nothing to play around with. Even experienced surfers in our area, once you get waves of this height, it really, there's so much more energy with these things, and it can be very dangerous. That, and we're looking at a stiff north wind tomorrow. We're going to see gusts 30 to 35 miles per hour from the north behind this front that's coming through. So again, dangerous swimming and surfing conditions. Localized beach erosion is going to be possible as well. Now, behind this front that's coming through, we also have higher than normal tides. It doesn't look like tidal flooding is going to be an issue, but there might be some nuisance tidal flooding as well behind this front that's working through the area. Wanted to quickly show you the track for Gaston. Again, a tropical storm. There are tropical storm warnings out for the Azores, so we'll continue to watch that. This should eventually be caught up in another frontal system that is coming through. In addition, we've got a wave coming off the African coast. Pretty good chance of development there, 60% within the next 2 to 5 days. You can see a 20% chance for this wave to develop in the next couple of days, 30% chance out through 5, and maybe a little greater chance after that. And then we've got this area, a 70% chance of development within the next 48 hours, and a 90% chance for development over the next 5 days as it moves across the Caribbean. Right now, just a cluster of storms, but likely to become our next system. Should be Hermine here that develops, and I wanted to show you the European model and the American model, the GFS, how they handle the system, and there is a big difference. The Euro carries it towards Florida and brings rain up through the southeast, a lot of wind here, and moves it up along the coast, weakens it as it moves up through our area, but a lot of rain, some wind, and maybe even some higher than normal tides. With the U.S. model, the GFS, this carries it much farther to the west, more of a threat to the Texas coastline through Louisiana, and it slows it down, keeping the rain farther to the south. So we'll have to see. It's too early to know which one of these plays out, but the GFS has done a better job with the last couple of storms, Earl and Fiona, the last two storms, did better than the Euro did handling those. So we're going to watch and see how things play out. Eventually these models will merge and come together on the solution when we really know what's going on with that. All right, so a front comes through again. That's going to help keep Fiona offshore. We will keep you updated on all the tropical developments. Be sure and stay tuned to 13 News Now.